Saturday notes. Have you ever behaved so correctly each day, each minute, and every thought are nearly identical and appear similar in their characteristics and description? Part of the problem with behavior has to do with the soldier example, the military officer example. Behavior is so well practiced, trained, error has been removed, and distraction has gone away now. And in the civilian world, the smart, intelligent, and wise, socially brilliant human now, person in the world, gets to a similar stopping location, a similar pause. And stimulus and a stimulus gets to be more difficult. And what this has to do with Saturday notes has to do with the piece involved in the process within the system of behavior. Reaching that goal, the rank and the prestige in the military. Reaching that benefit in society in a place like Seattle, Washington, not getting bothered, and also observing those other shapes and voices and identifying characteristics of those who are less rigid, who don't have the IQ to meet the standards set forth by their cult, group, friends, circles, online personality on the internet. The world has identified what I'm describing and now says everyone needs to pay attention to consciousness. A new stimulus, described as less boring by the cannabis connoisseur, less stupid in the thinking of the philosopher, professor, doctor, PhD, student, graduate. And now there's behavior and consciousness as a stimulus in a more complex system with the same parameters, the same inputs and the same outputs, the same language and letters and numbers and ideology. With people who talk about other systems, government, police, local jurisdictions, communities. And anarchists, most obviously, who want to get rid of all of the systems. Been watching this baseball documentary by Ken Burns. And behavior looks very similar with the style and the appearance of the players and the inhabitants of Earth in the 1800s who weren't taking selfies and logging on to their bank accounts. Who were playing a game, who were a part of a family to make money, to have food, to feed their children, who hit an object in the hopes of receiving a reward from a home run and less work to score. The point has to do with how, since the first humans were alive, there's been behavior stimulus and reward. Consciousness and a world with dark sky at night, with stars and a moon and planets, and a daytime with sun, clouds and rain and thunder. There's no new development in the most gentle way I can say it now. And yet so many people, folks, humans are searching for a kind of treasure to discover and kind of rewrite humanity, reimagine the world and the people inside of the world or in the world. Disregarding the limitations, gravity, and the expectations, work, building a rocket to go up into outer space, designing a suit to survive in the environment with no oxygen or air. And the limits, getting into outer space and being in the same predicament inside of a small capsule or a space station where everyone has to behave within limits to not argue and fight and potentially cause disaster from their decision making. There's nowhere to go. No other country to fly to and begin a new life. No bunker to close the door and say goodbye to the world. And their example makes Earth stronger and more powerful, highlighting and illuminating the decision making. And giving information and data about stimulus and the small amounts needed for consciousness and happiness. When the stars are so beautiful and the planet so bright and delicate below, and here on Earth, the clouds so slow, the birds so clear and pretty. Now, the end.